before a marriage or out of a marriage or whatever the case may be. And then we're human. Stuff happens. We know. It's a counterfeit. It is empty. It is creating or cutting the covenant without the vows, and you cannot have one without the other in a good covenant. You make no promises, you make no stipulations, no oaths. There is no guarantees if you do it without the covenant. In the covenant, God's got you. He's got your back. He's like, you betcha. Without the covenant, it's empty. Yeah, it's fun for a time. Yeah, you chase the pleasure, but it's empty. That's just kind of how it works. And as with all good rules and in law, if you counterfeit something, technically there's a thing to that. There's a consequence. But, because of the cross and because of Christ and the way he handled his life and his perfection, we get forgiveness. We get in any shape of any counterfeit that happens, we can be forgiven. And it can be, if you've been forgiven, that's fine. If you've done it, if you haven't, that's between you and the Lord. I know that. But there is forgiveness there, standing and arms wide open, ready and waiting. The other side to that is, in that forgiveness, as with anything in your life, don't create a cloak of maliciousness. And this is in 1 Peter 2:16, and I'm going to read, that's actually the King James Version. This is going to be the NIV. It's, live as free people, but do not use your freedom as a cover-up for evil. Live as God's slaves. Now here we're not talking about an oppressive slavery. We're talking about a willing submission and giving over your life and body to the Lord Jesus Christ, because he will make everything a little bit better. A lot of bit better. He will. So in the forgiveness that Christ extends and offers and loves you in entirely, do not use it as a crutch or an excuse to continue. But just kind of give it over. And I will say this, it takes some doing, believe me. Men are pretty, trust me. But there's a lot of prayer that goes into not going too far. Believe me, a lot of prayer. And he is usually right there with me, and he usually takes care of me in those areas and helps me to stay strong in him in any area of my life. And that's kind of all I got. If Joel and Jasper want to come up, we will have the altar open for anybody who wants to get forgiveness for counterfeiting or for anything, as the case may be. And Joel can come and pray, whatever he's going to do. And I'm done.